Games usually have to try really hard to instill a sense of tension in me. So-called horror games rarely make use of decent storytelling and instead rely on jump scares and loud sound effects. So why then can a side-scrolling action-adventure mobile game with no story and no identifiable protagonist bring those odd feelings to the surface? Like all well-designed action platformers, the controls are simple and slick. You tap the screen to make your little guy flap and keep that tap held to make him continuously flap upwards. Your goal? To navigate the dangerous terrain and reach the escape pipe at the end of each level. The game has what can best be referred to as a loose auto-scrolling mechanism. Occasionally the screen itself will catch up to you and end your journey, but this isn't too frustrating. While it is forced, it is somewhat based on the speed of your little fluff ball and is quite manageable. Along your way, you'll encounter spikes, crushes, explosive spores, saw blades, gears, and many other nasty, horrible things. To make matters worse, each of these elements has a kind of creepy, spindly feel to them, as though the terrain itself is alive. It's not all darkness and pain in Badland, however. To assist you, there's various power-ups that transform your little creature. Become sticky to, stick to things, which is really helpful when it comes to saw blade encounters. Change size to squeeze into tight areas or to push things out of your way. You can pick up a spinning power that can enable you to travel quickly through certain segments or navigate along the ceiling to avoid danger. You're able to change the game speed to make things a bit easier during some pretty intense sections, and without giving too much away, you can even change shape. The game's hallmark is the ability to clone yourself. You can pick up little buddies along the way that travel with you. In a pack, these little creatures are stronger than the sum of their individual selves. They can push objects that might have otherwise been impossible to move. Of course, trying to fit a lot of little things into a small space isn't necessarily a good idea either, and you can often find yourself getting stuck. But that's the beauty of the physics system in the game. It allows for some very interesting and unusual things to happen. While it is possible to save quite a few of these curious little things, Badland's clever level design will see that outcome almost never happen. Time after time I've seen myself amass upwards of 30 floaters only for something bad to happen to 29 of them and find my last surviving fuzzy scraped through by the skin of its, skin. Of course, not all of these upgrades are mandatory. If you, willingly or not, skip over some of them, you can end up in a completely different situation than if you did pick them up. The game is quite versatile and the puzzles are all designed to be reflex-based rather than head-scratchers. The single-player campaign will launch with 40 levels. These levels are divided up into 4 stages of 10, dawn, noon, dusk, and night. Each of these stages is coloured according to their relative time of day, yellow, green, red, and blue respectively. You need to complete a stage in order to progress on to the next, however, these can be replayed at any time to attempt the challenges set forth in each. Badland even lets you play in flow mode, where the level breaks are taken out completely and you can play the game seamlessly travelling between levels with no menu or introductory screens. There are more levels planned for future updates, and if that's not enough, the game comes complete with a local multiplayer survival mode, where you and up to 3 friends can go head to head on the same device. On an iPhone, this isn't necessarily a practicality, however on the iPad's larger screen, it's truly a joy, particularly if you're able to pull off a satisfyingly cheap victory. Overall, what stands out most about Badland is the ambience. The silhouette technique that we saw in Limbo has been elevated to the next level. The colourful painted background artwork is simply some of the best I've seen, not just for a mobile game, but perhaps any game I've seen in recent times. Headphones are definitely recommended for this one, as the sound effects are amazing. And I'm not just talking about the noises of the little creatures and how they interact with the environment, but the ambient sounds of the jungle. Haunting noises of bubbling swamps, insects, and unseen beasties mixed with the grinding machinery far off in the distance. It all makes for a feeling of danger and isolation. Badland will release later this month as a universal app, and the price is yet to be announced. This guy has been top priority on my radar for quite some time, and I'm extremely excited to see it come out. I don't use this term often, but insta-buy springs to mind. Thanks for joining me for today's look at Badland. Be sure to subscribe for a look at some of the latest mobile games. This has been Alex for Game Mob, that's www.gamemob.com.